Cleveland, Griffin,
Here.
Hairston,
Here.
Bashir Jones, Slight,
Present.
McCormick.
Present.
Mr. Chairman, you have a quorum. Cleveland,
Am I back?
yes, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. I do let folks know I am on Spectrum Cable. So as the wind blows, so does my cable service. This Development Planning Sustainability Committee hearing is being held during the COVID-19 emergency declaration in accordance with Ohio's open meeting laws as amended by sub HB 197. This meeting is being held using the Zoom platform and is being live streamed on YouTube and on Cleveland's Channel 20. It can also be seen on Cleveland City Council website and from Council's Facebook page. In accordance with Ohio open meeting regulations as amended by sub HB 197, notice of this committee hearing was publicly posted. This committee hearing will be conducted as all committee hearings in accordance with the council rules and Robert's Rules of Order, and the chair will facilitate the meeting and call on persons to speak. If you wish to speak, please use the raise your hand option on Zoom, and please limit your comments to the matters before today's committee. As is the usual practice, any action to be voted on during the committee will be done by voice vote, called and recorded by the committee clerk. We have the first piece we have on our agenda, 780-2020. Will be held. We're waiting for the law department to get back to us on that piece with additional information. First piece we have is ordinance 795-2020 by council members McCormick, Cleveland, Brancatelli, and Kelly by department request. Authorize the director of Port Control to employ one or more professional consultants to maintain, manage, and secure and promote city-owned properties at the North Coast Harbor and to fulfill the common area maintenance agreement with stakeholders of North Coast Harbor for a period of 1 year with 3 one-year options to renew. Exercised by the Director of Port Control, estimated cost $400,000. Who is speaking on this piece?
Mr. Chair, it's Robert Kennedy, the DPC Director, and I will have John Hoos join me on the details. Good morning, Chair, members of the committee. Besides the 2 airports in Cleveland, the Department of Port Control has responsibility for the North Coast Harbor, which is East 9th Street Pier, Vodovich Park, North Coast Harbor Walkways, and the docks. Clients include the Rock Hall, Great Lakes Science Center, Cleveland Browns, and Cumberland Development. We have the responsibility to manage this facility, and we employ the use of professional services to meet our commitment. For the details on this particular request, I'm going to turn it over to our manager of the harbors, John Hoos. John, would you give the details on our request to the council?
Yes, thanks, Robert, for teeing that up. Yeah, the specifics are the contract is to operate, maintain, secure, and promote North Coast Harbor. In the past, the contract was divided into 3 essential units. The first one is essentially the clean and safe budget. That budget is set by the CAM members, and then those costs are reimbursed to the Port Control. The second component is property management and marketing. Those services are provided by DCA as well as the previous clean and safe budget as well. And what they do is they handle all aspects of special events down there. And then we also have our own promotional events. We have our lakefront leagues. We have CLE Fish event. We have a Winter Fest. And that comes out of that budget as well as property management. And then there is a third component, which is essentially city initiated repairs, minor repairs and enhancements to the district. Out of this line item, it's also various repairs that are the responsibility of the city per the CAM agreement. In the past, the contract has not exceeded $378,000. And just to note, it is a reimbursement contract. So.
And for this, we ask for the committee's approval.
Do I see any, trying to look at my participants list. Do we have any questions on 795, 2020? Councilman McCormick?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Chair to the director, does this also, and I apologize if I missed it, I'm also a little in and out with the technology here. I'm looking out my window and the wind is blowing like crazy. So I got the same internet you do, Tony. Chair to the director, does this involve management of the docks as well?
Through the chair to the council person, yes, Doc's down there, and I have the same technology as everybody else as well. In fact, mine was out this morning when I was leaving home.
Yeah, thank you. So, chair to the director or Mr. Hoos, first of all, I appreciate you reaching out to me about the docks. I know we've had prior conversations in the years past about concerns that folks had brought to me. Going to completely admit this is first world problems, but folks that do come in on the day in their boats and use the docks had concerns in the past. I appreciate you reaching out to me and giving me more information on the folks that are going to be operating the docks. It appears that they are professionals. But let me ask that question, Chair, to the director or to Mr. Hoos. Do you believe that the folks that will be operating the docks are professionals and have experience in the maritime management that it takes to successfully run the operation?
Just to distinguish the DCA or the management contract doesn't cover the docks. That contract is through Oasis Management. Yeah, they're a very professional operation with marinas that they manage throughout the Midwest and also in high-profile locations on the East Coast, National Harbor, Baltimore's Inner Harbor. They have a complete suite of customer service software. I expect it to be much improved. We had our initial feedback, although it was a bit of a interesting operational year for them, was very positive from the customers. They do surveys for every person that docks there to collect a ton of data. So there's a mechanism in place for continuous improvement. And what I've seen thus far is that they're doing an excellent job.
Thank you.
Through the chair to the council person, when you said docks, my apologies. I thought you were talking about the docks behind First Energy Stadium. So
Okay.
It's different under the contract that we signed last year.
Got it. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I would just say that no news is good news. And so both DCA as well as the folks that are operating the docks by North Coast Harbor, I've heard, DCA is, of course, a longtime trusted partner. But then the new dock operators too, I've had no complaints. So no news is good news on that one. And I thank the director for his attention to making sure that the harbor is running at top capacity. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. I see no further questions. So thank you very much. Ordinance number 795, 2020 stands approved as read. Let's sign it up. Next ordinance we have 847, 2020 by council members Brancatelli and Kelly by department request, authorizing the Director of Economic Development to enter into a grant agreement with Cleveland 2030 District or its designee to provide economic development assistance to partially finance administration of the Cleveland 2030 District program. Estimated cost $50,000. Director?
Thank you. So this program will continue our partnership that we formed with Cleveland 2030 in 2018. This provides support for their 2019 and 2020 fiscal budgets. We've been working with them now for the last probably about 18 months on helping to sort of refine out their scope, refine out their how to get their proposal straight away to work with us. And it's been a good partnership so far. To talk a little bit about what the 2030 district does, they really work on focusing on monitoring the sustainability of our building stock in Cleveland. And so they have, over the past several years, worked with private and public sector markets to get building owners, property owners to sign up to joined their monitoring program, and they have almost 62 million square feet of space under their part of their program right now. And so their focus is on, again, on energy use, which includes not just power, but also water, stormwater, gas, and those related resources. And they've set up a monitoring system, reporting with these businesses, and for a organization that's just really been getting started now over the past few years, we've really seen a lot of development in our partnership with them, and we're proud to support them in their work currently and going forward as they continue to ramp up to play a bigger role.
Thank you, Director. I've had the pleasure of attending some of the 2030 district forums. Very, very informative, great partnership. Appreciate the effort your department is making to stay engaged with them. And it's very helpful that we continue to have them as another party as to all the work that we need to do in our downtown district. Councilman McCormick, did you have any comments on legislations 847-2020?
No, Mr. Chair. Support the legislation.
Thank you. Any further comments on 847-2020? No further comments. 847-2020 stands approved as read. Let's sign it up. Thank you, Director.
Thank you.
We have a few pieces from municipal services that carried over from yesterday's meeting. The first piece we have is 691-2020 by Council Members Beshear, Jones, Johnson, and Brancatelli, by department request, declaring the intent to vacate a portion of East 66th Place, extending from Lexington Avenue to Quimby Avenue. Director of Capital Projects, Director Sprance, you're on?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
Thank
Rick
you.
Swatowski is also here too. So Rick will brief you on this, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Manager Swatowski. Unmute yourself. Thank you.
My apologies. Good morning to everyone. The
Morning.
Cleveland Public Library is in the process of designing a new Huff branch that will be built on property that they intend to acquire from the city land bank at the corner of East 66th Street and Lexington Avenue. There's an alleyway called East 66th Place that runs north and south between Lexington and Quimby Avenues. The parcels that Cleveland Public Library intends to acquire are located on either side of East 66th Place. The alley is no longer being used for access and is unimproved. We have consent from Council Member Beshear Jones.
Thank you. Councilman Jones.
Thank you, Chairman. Yes, we're very excited. We look forward to this project to bring this amazing library to a new library to our neighborhood. This is going to be a beautiful thing, man. So this is, I think, the final part. I believe this is the final part, right, Director, to get going?
Rick.
Council, to the chair, to the council member, this is the, yes, this is the final, this is the first portion. This is an intent to vacate. The actual vacation will follow. This is the one for the library in East 66th Street. We still, as you may be aware, for the Cleveland Foundation, where that encroachment is following. So the whole East 66 library vacation and the 66 Cleveland Foundation encroachment is to follow, yes.
Yeah. No, I was just speaking about the foundation, just the library. But I'm just saying for the library piece, this it's intent to vacate. It's the alley in the back of the building. This is the final part for us to kind of move this thing forward.
Right.
Chairman.
It'll go.
Okay.
You'll go to Board of Revisions, then it'll come back for the actual ordinance.
Awesome. Okay, thank you. Yes, Chairman, man, I'm very excited about it and definitely support it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Any further questions on Resolution 691-2020? No further questions. 691-2020 is approved as read. Next up is Ordinance 783-2020 by Council Members McCormick, Brancatelli, Johnson, and Kelly by department request to amend sections 1, 2, 3, 6, and 7 of Ordinance number 330-2019, passed April 29th, 2019, relating to granting to the Northeast Ohio Sewer District certain easement rights in the property at Clark Field needed as Northeast Ohio Sewer District's West 3rd Quigley Westerly Miscellaneous CSO contract project. And this was previously heard municipal services and approved yesterday. I think this one is Commissioner DeRosa.
Yes, sir. So this is a relief sewer project with the sewer district to alleviate flooding due to insufficient capacity in the sewers and to reduce outflows into Lake Erie and the rivers. We did pass an ordinance back in 2019 to authorize the transfer of permanent and temporary easements for this project that goes through Clark Field. And this was being coordinated and sequenced with the EPA's remediation of Clark Field. The sewer district was going to go in first, and then the EPA was going to finish the remediation. But the sewer district was unable to get good bids on the project. And after trying twice, they missed the schedule with the EPA. So what they've done is they've redesigned the project so that they're going to reline an existing sewer that goes under the existing access road through Clark Field. And that'll alleviate open cutting through the land that was just remediated by the EPA. So that requires us to amend the legal descriptions for the easement areas and also to amend the sale price for these easements. So there's one temporary easement and there's one permanent easement that would be within Clark Field. We attached a drawing to everyone's council briefing there. The towpath trail would not be impacted. Any trees would be replaced along West 11th Street, any trees that are impacted. And the project would not impact the city's future park improvement project, which is slated for next year. And the only open cutting that would happen would be along West 11th Street where there was no remediation. So the value of these easements is $4,920. And as I always say, this is part of the Clarence Van Duzer land swap, where we received a property along Merwin Avenue from the sewer district, and we exchanged certain easements to them. So the appraised value is $4,920. They had a credit due of $804 left. So what they're going to pay us is $4,116, and that clears out the land swap, and you won't see those on future ordinances.
Great, thank you.
But hopefully that all makes sense.
It does make sense.
Okay.
I continue to commend you for your ability to be able to manage these land swaps and balance sheets. It's a creative way of being able to continue to do business pretty seamlessly. Councilman McCormick?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to thank Commissioner DeRosa for always communicating effectively to members. He reached out to me on this project, so I really appreciate him. He never misses a beat on that, and I really appreciate that. Chairman, this is, again, a part of what feels like an Italian cassata cake of things that have to go in to get Clark Field done, but all important aspects of it. I support this legislation to continue to move the ball forward on Clark Field. So I support this. A question, Chair, to the Director. We look at next year. What are we thinking? Are there any, actually, let me ask it like this. Chair to the Director, are there any other steps that need to be taken before the city has site control and is ready to go on this project? The Clark Field project as a whole, not necessarily the sewer project.
Through the chair, Councilman McCormick. No, right now we're in the final stages of design for the new park. The EPA has, finished their capping work there. They gave us all the as-built plans. And so the site is coming back into the city of Cleveland's control now. So we have those as-built plans and we're finishing up our drawings. Our intent is in January or February of next year to put the park project out to bid. And we're currently on schedule to do that. All the funding for it is currently in place as well. So we should be in good shape right now on budget, on schedule for that. And then we would start construction hopefully sometime in the middle of next year.
Thank you. And Mr. Chairman, and I appreciate that. I'll just, leave it. When I took office about 5 years ago, I sat down with a longtime community activist and resident who's been integral in the Friends of Clark Field at Civilization Coffee Shop in Tremont. And she looked at me and said, I need you to get this done before I die. So I appreciate, Mr. Chairman, that this project is moving along.
No pressure.
No pressure. It's long been anticipated by the community. It's a heavily used park, was and continued will be. So we're excited to see this move forward. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Any further questions? I don't see any other additional hands on 78320. No further questions. 78320 stands approved. Thank you very much. Next ordinance 821-2020 by council members McCormick, Johnson, Bencatelli, and Kelly by department request. Authorize the Director of Public Works to enter a license agreement with the Convention and Visitors Bureau of Greater Cleveland, Inc., DBA Destination Cleveland, to use and occupy city-owned property and ongoing maintenance of pedestrian wayfinding sign at the Lakefront Municipal Parking Lot for an initial term of 3 years and automatically renewing year to year unless terminated by either party. Who is speaking on this one?
Commissioner DeRosa speak on it.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, so this is a housekeeping item here where we allowed Destination Cleveland to install a wayfinding sign last year in the Muting parking lot. So it's outside of the right of way, but on city property. And so we need to move forward with a license agreement to allow that sign to remain. It's one of the same signs that we see all throughout downtown. And as you said, this would be an agreement for 3 years and it would renew automatically from year to year thereafter.
Okay, Councilman McCormick.
Move for approval, Chair.
Thank you. Any other hands raised on 821-2020? No further questions. 821-2020 stands approved as read. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I think, Clerk, we finished the additional walk-ons. Madam Clerk?
Chairman? Mr. Chairman, I'm sorry. I didn't hear you.
Yeah, we finished all the additional walk-ons.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Thank you very much. Councilman Jones, you want to speak to me about some other issues?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. You know, I have some concerns, and really not with just you, but just with council in general as we are approaching the end of the year. And next year is going to be a very busy one for everyone as we move forward in these election processes. And, you know, getting projects done is a joy for me, as I'm sure it's a joy for a lot of us that are here. And anytime that we face hiccups and continuous hiccups in specific places, it causes a major problem. It causes a major problem. And unfortunately, you know, and it's not just happening on the east side, it happens on the west side. One of the issues that I've seen with getting projects done in our city is how long things take to get done. And, you know, I truly appreciate your efficiency and just how you move things, man. So this statement is partial just appreciation for your work and how you move things along. And then also I'm asking, Chair, for yourself as well as my colleagues that, hey, listen, man, I support your growth because your growth is a growth for the city. Once again, your growth is a growth for the city. We should remove all rhetoric that one neighborhood or one side of town progress means more than another side of town's progress, or remove the rhetoric of what happens on the west side doesn't happen on the east side. Like, let's remove that rhetoric. Whatever happens in any part of Cleveland, it affects us all. The pain of the west side becomes the pain of the east side, and the joy of the east side becomes the joy of the west side. And until we look at it as one Cleveland, then we're going to continue to suffer. So, Chairman, all I ask is that I've been having some tough times, and I appreciate the council president for assisting me, but I'm having some tough times and some barriers, it seems, placed in front of my way when it comes to getting stuff done in my neighborhood. And what I don't want to happen is that I don't want to have to go back to my neighborhood and express that to them, that I'm getting blocked from bringing growth to my neighborhood. But I'm on the brink of doing that. So, Chairman, I'm just asking that you continue to be the great leader that you are, and I'll be reaching out to you to express some things. but it's some things happening in community development specifically that is halting, slowing down my progress, slowing down the progress of my neighborhood. And, you know, I've been working on a specific project, the Allen Estates, for almost 2 years now. And we have fumbled the ball. Luckily, we have a council president that is Nick Chubb like, so he's picked up the ball and running it in the direction that it needs to go. But I shouldn't continue to have these type of fumbles when these developers, and particularly people of color, are running into these issues. So I'm just letting it be known to my colleagues, to you, Chair, that I'm not going to totally expose things right now. I'm not going to put people on Front Street right now, but I can guarantee you that if this happens again, if my projects continue to be halted again, if barriers get in the way again, the next time I'm going to address it, I'm gonna put it all out, and I'm not going to forget it when we walk into the budget hearings. I'm not going to forget it when we walk in there. I'm going to make sure that I bring it up and speak about it so that the community know in full that maybe who we thought was causing the problems and causing the lack of growth in our community is not who we thought it was, but maybe the issue is right within our own walls. So I just wanted to share that, Chairman. Thank you for that moment. And I'm just letting everyone know, and I'm sure some of you all have also experienced this, and I'll be looking to speak with the mayor very soon, is that we cannot stop progress. And we have to be the ones within City Hall to do whatever we need to do to push progress and not stretch it out to make businesses and developers not want to do business here because of our behavior. Thank you, Chair.
All right, Councilman, I appreciate your passion, both for your ward as well as your statement for the city. I think it is important that we have a reliable process and reliable services that developers, businesses, individuals, residents, all the stakeholders, including elected officials, can rely on. We're blessed. I got a staff person, Joe Titron. When we get stuck on process, he's been very good at being able to bring process to our committee. We're going to have a hearing about building permits, which was a question of concern. And Director Donald's going to come in front of our committee. So as we have these issues come forward, we can rely on our staff and others to bring those process forward so we know what we can rely on and what the expectations are. So I appreciate your passion on this, and we will continue to advocate to make sure these work as they should.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. With that, we have no further comment. I will call for a committee adjournment.